Arne, thank you very much for joining us. 4-0 on aggregate, is that a fair reflection of the tie overall?
It depends on how you want to look at it. I don't think so. I think we got much more than we deserved last week by only losing 2-0. And that was same last season. And what was also the same as last season, that today we got much less than we deserved. Last season at home, we played an incredible game, should have won that game. And today, in my opinion, we should have won as well. But it's also the quality of them that they don't concede from all the chances we had. And then the finish of Dembele probably tells you why he won the Ballon d'Or and why that team has won the Champions League last season and has a good opportunity to win it again this season.
It does help to have your best players on the field, of course. Ugo Ekitike first. How is he?
Not so good. I think we could all see that it didn't look well and didn't look good.
Achilles, is that right?
Let's wait and see what it will be. But we could all see it didn't look good. And in the second half he went home, so I haven't seen him yet. But losing a game is already very hard, especially in the way we lost it. But then again, as it seems to be, losing a player is something we've had so many times this season, but it's especially very hard for him because you never want to be injured, especially not at this moment of time in the season.
Yes, you need breaks as well when you have that momentum. Were you surprised to see the VAR get involved? Was it a clear and obvious error to award the penalty?
Depends. If you look at our season, I'm completely not surprised because so many decisions have gone against us this season that you're not surprised. For me, it's quite simple actually. If the referee doesn't give a penalty, the VAR would have never overturned it. But I've seen so many soft penalties being given, but then people say, VAR, you cannot interfere because I see contact, and that's what we clearly see, contact. But as I said, I don't think it's a surprise for us this season because not only in the Champions League, but definitely also in the Premier League, so many decisions have gone against us that you're not surprised. But last week there were two decisions that maybe went a bit in our favor, a penalty overturned and one pushing it back from Ibu that could have been given. So unfortunately we couldn't score a goal because this is a moment, but we had multiple chances in the second half and a big one in the first half for us to score a goal, and I think Anfield was rocking already at 0-0, let alone what would have happened if we would have scored the 1-0.
What have these two games told you about Liverpool's level against the best in Europe?
Last week was of course tough and very difficult, but I think we've showed that in a week time that we can improve a lot. And I think it's a big compliment to the players how they showed themselves today, knowing that we played 2 days ago as well, and the intensity that we played with today was incredible, and the players just kept on going even after we going 1-0 down, and that's a big compliment to them. We've generated more than enough chances, but as also so many times this season. If you look at XG, and that's something we all know what I'm talking about, we should have scored 2, but we didn't score 1, and that has happened far too many times this season with us.
So much expectation, of course, with the new signings. No trophies. Champions League qualification is the minimum. Would you agree for this group?
Yeah, of course. And that's where we have to play for now in the upcoming weeks. Said before the game that we had 88 minutes till now with Hugo, Alex and Florian on the pitch. How many did we add to that today?
30, 35, 36.
35.
Yeah.
I wonder how many minutes there are there to come this season. So, but okay. The good thing is that Alex is back. He's able to make minutes. So yeah, that's the good thing.
And are you convinced with the squad you've got? Mo leaves, of course. The last Champions League night for him this evening. Andy Robertson is going. Are you convinced the group that you have will be good enough to reach the sort of levels that they've reached?
Now, I think much is being said recently, and maybe by many people also through this year, that the club is in a transition. We've sold 8-10 players to recoup money to sign 4 or 5, 6 very talented and good players. And now we are losing Mo and Andy Robertson on a free transfer, as we lost Trent on a free transfer. And this model of the club means that we have to sell usually to buy. So it's a big challenge. It was already last season, and it's going to be a challenge in the summer again. But this club has also showed many times that this model works, and we can be very successful with this model. And I think we've signed, which you could see today, very good and talented players. Now let's hope that they all fit. They all go into most of them go into their second season in the Premier League. So as I said many times, the future looks really good, especially if we can add a few good signings after good players leaving as well this summer.
Thank you, Arne.
You're welcome.
What did you make of Arne Slot's demeanour there, Daniel?
He looked defeated, of course. And as you would be, you know, the expectations at the club are always going to be high. The level of football that we're used to seeing, and I think the quality they've shown over a long period of time shows where we're at, and I think the manager will feel as if he could have done better for sure. And the players, at the end of the day, they're the ones on the pitch. They know they could have done better, but it's the nature of football, and you know, it's what clubs like this demand. They demand high levels, season in, season out.
Spanish quarter-final. They could face Arsenal if they can hold on to that lead. But as we know, Liverpool are out in spite of at times a better performance, certainly than the first leg, but they just didn't have enough tonight.
No, they didn't. I think PSG showed a quality, and I don't think they were brilliant tonight. Actually, I think they showed a quality over the two legs. But when they needed to sort of up the game, they did it. Liverpool huffed and puffed. We were still none the wiser in terms of the formation, the tactics of them. But put in a better show because they worked a little bit harder. But that's a prerequisite of football anyway.
I suppose it's hard, Daniel. All season that's their 17th defeat of the season, and they haven't shown the form and class that they've shown in the last few years. Certainly, the form they showed to win the title last year. It was a lot to expect them to move up to that level tonight.
Yeah, and I think the expectation at the start of the season was that they would kick on, but the signings coming in and that continuity has lacked this season. I think the performance tonight, was full of drive, was full of passion, and the guys worked tirelessly, and you have to give them credit for that. Unfortunately, the result didn't go their way, but they can be proud of how they worked. They gave everything, and the result didn't go their way.
And of course, they lost Hugo Ekitike in the process. Mo Salah coming on early into the game, Wayne, but even he couldn't really make an impression.
No, he couldn't. I think Liverpool lacked a little bit of ideas in the final third, and it was all played in front of PSG. PSG showed the quality towards the end, and let Liverpool try and almost blow themselves out of the leg, and then PSG just had to be a bit patient and make one or two passes, and they were in so many times towards the end.
You were at both legs now. You were there last week, of course, Clarence. Different performance from PSG tonight.
Yeah, different. But even last week, it was really Liverpool that gave too much space away. And what I can say about PSG is that they know how to take advantage of the spaces that are left from the adversaries. They have no problem to sit, wait until that moment appears, and then they are very, very cynical.
On 64 minutes, there was a penalty incident that the referee decided was indeed a penalty, and then was asked to go and check, and it was overturned. This could have really changed the game, Wayne, because it was still goalless. This seemed, incandescent with rage when it was overturned, but the energy would have changed, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I think PSG were on the ropes a little bit, because I think Liverpool had threw a few balls into the box, caused a little bit of chaos. I mean, that is a real game changer. Did I think it was a penalty? It was a soft one. But, as Wazza says there, I don't think he can change it. I mean, VAR has probably not done the job there. It's harsh, but the referee's giver, whether he's unsighted.
And McAllister had done well, Daniel.
I think it's a pen. That's what I think. It's clear contact. If it's on VAR and you can see the contact, then it's a penalty. You can say that the action is to get his body across, which is, as an attacker, that's what you do.
Normal.
You know what I mean? So if the contact's there and the ball's coming to me, then it's a penalty. Simple as that.
Clarence?
I agree, but at the end, it's not enough. You cannot rely on this moment to get past a team that has created more than 12, 13 chances against you, scored 3 goals again. So it would have changed for sure the dynamics, but it would maybe not have been enough still. We don't know.
Okay, well, we're hoping to hear from Arne Slot, get reaction from Liverpool, Lewis, and continue to bring you exclusive coverage, of course, of the Champions League all season. But for Liverpool, it is over. They couldn't find the goals necessary to overturn that 2-goal lead that PSG brought here from the first leg. And it's the first time since he came here to Liverpool that he has lost back-to-back matches, Arne Slot. There was a boost beating Fulham, of course, in the Champions League, and there was a boost beating Fulham at the weekend. But this is a team that's been inconsistent all season.
They have, but they've shown moments of brilliance, and there was a period where they were winning games, and it felt good. But if we're being honest with ourselves, have they been at the levels that they've set throughout the last couple of seasons? Specifically last year, they were very, very good. They're not the same team as they were last year, of course. Everybody knows that. But, you know, they've got to finish the season well. Obviously, make sure they get in the Champions League. And then next season, have to be ready to go. It's as simple as that.
What are the big differences, Robbie, for you this season? Why has their identity been so hard to place and say this is the Liverpool style?
Yeah, I think a lot of teams have sort of not worked Liverpool out, but if you think of Liverpool last season, they're probably playing on the back of a Jurgen Klopp team. So I think teams going into playing Liverpool, I wish the team had more fight than when I had that umbrella. But when teams were playing Liverpool last year, it was obviously Jurgen Klopp's team. So they were focused on that. But this year, it's now Arne Slot's team. So they're focused on the formations and the tactics. For me, I think it's irrelevant, but I think teams have maybe worked Arne Slot out a little bit.
I think it's body language, and I've said this early on in the season. I think the body language of Liverpool players hasn't been the same as it was last season. Under Jurgen Klopp in the last season, they didn't win the league. So I think it's too easy to say that that was Jurgen Klopp's team. I think they won the league with Arne Slot last season. I just think the body language, the mentality looked a little bit different last season.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say, though, in terms of last year when teams were playing? They were still, I know Jurgen never won it the year before, but teams were thinking that he's not really going to change that much because, you know, you're essentially just come off the back of winning the league and having this great team.
We also need to remember, and we haven't said it tonight, the loss of Diogo Jota in the summer. It clearly impacted the players emotionally at the beginning of the season, and that's something that is a personal journey, isn't it? And you don't know who's being affected at what time. And of course, you know, as a team, that was a devastating thing to deal with. That takes a while to come through.
Yeah, everybody's journey dealing with grieving is different, and we can't take away from the fact that just because these are professional footballers that they're supposed to be robots. They've lost a friend, a family member, somebody who they all dearly loved, as well as the fan base. So as much as we want to talk about, you know, the performances and the psychology and to the body language and all these different types of things, everybody grieves in different ways, and it takes everybody to recover. And you can't recover from something like that, you know. It's a tragic moment, and you know.
And of course, those big signings who came in on the back of that, didn't they, Clarence? And you know, it was obviously a very difficult thing to do, but they haven't maybe gelled as well as would have been liked. And of course, there's been injury as well to Isak.
Yeah, I mean, all unfortunate things and all reasons to explain this transition year, which is pretty normal. When Klopp came, he also needed a few years to really mold the team and get the team where he really wanted. I think that Slot did really well to use whatever was there already, don't change too much. I think that intelligence was amazing to come in and keep the things going and add some stuff where he thought it was needed. But if you look at this year, it's actually pretty normal. They still performed. You're still in the quarterfinal. You lose against, you know, the former champion of the Champions League, and I think that hopefully you'll do well enough to have another chance next season, and then to really build and have more time with all the players adapted to the new situation.
I don't think this is a time for like negativity either, though. I know, of course, the big injury for Ekitike tonight, which is a huge moment, but we're talking about a group of players who are building together. Yes, there is a transitional moment, but the quality of the players the club have purchased does give you hope that they can, you know, get back to their level quickly. I don't think this is talking about rebuilds. And when people talk about rebuilds, they think 3, 4, 5, 6 years. I don't anticipate that to be the case. Oh, no. But you know, I think the signings they've got top-level young players who they believe in. And I truly believe the club can get back to the level that we know they should be at.
I think you're talking about rebuilds to the champions from last season. So they won the league last season and they've spent an awful lot of amount of money.
A record amount of money for
to try and make the squad better. So there's certainly been faults from whether that's recruitment, and obviously they've had players out injured, but you shouldn't be talking about a rebuild when you've just won the Premier League. I think they've lost some really good players who were. You see why the fans were so upset when they lost Trent.
Wayne, I need
because Ousmane Dembele scored. Scored 2 at
My English is bad.
No, we're all good. We'll make sure we speak slowly. Anfield is a famous football arena. To score 2 goals there and go through to the Champions League semi-final, how good did that feel tonight?
I speak in French.
Okay,
Thierry,
we'll translate.
J'ai besoin de toi.
T'inquiète pas, on est là.
Ok. Non, comme je l'ai dit,
Like
voilà, le premier match et le deuxième match, c'est toujours différent. Voilà, dans un stade comme ça, c'est toujours difficile. Et voilà, on est venu ici pour remporter cette victoire, de continuer sur la même mentalité. Et voilà, le plus important, c'est de passer. On sait que c'est un stade difficile, c'est une équipe difficile. Et voilà, surtout en deuxième période, on a beaucoup souffert. Mais il fallait cette tranquillité, surtout sur les occasions qu'on a eues pour pouvoir marquer et remporter ce match.
But we're happy that we were able to take this match home.
Ousmane, j'ai une question pour toi.
Ousmane, I have a question for you.
J'ai jamais eu vraiment de doute sur cette équipe, mais à un moment donné, je me demandais à quel moment vous allez arriver à trouver cet équilibre. Je trouvais à un moment donné qu'il y avait un manque de constance, mais là, pour le coup, c'est revenu.
Oui, c'est ça. Après, voilà, c'est une saison, surtout la première partie de saison, elle était difficile. On a un groupe aussi en difficile. On n'a pas eu beaucoup de vacances, même si ce n'est pas des excuses, mais voilà, il fallait cette mentalité. On l'a joué ensemble, surtout, je l'avais dit à plusieurs reprises, il faut retrouver ce collectif-là. On sait que dans les moments importants, c'est le plus important, le collectif, jouer ensemble, se battre ensemble. Et puis voilà, ça allait revenir. On sait qu'on a des joueurs incroyables. Surtout quand on joue en équipe, on est difficile à prendre. Et le plus important, comme je l'ai dit, c'est cette mentalité qu'il faut avoir. L'équipe et jouer pour le Paris Saint-Germain.
Est-ce que tu penses que vous pouvez doubler?
Do you think you can get the double?
Doubler, quand j'ai doublé, c'est répéter, gagner. Oui, voilà, merci. Non, mais...
To win again, to defend the Champions League title.
Oui, c'est l'objectif. Quand on arrive au mois de juillet pour la pré-saison, l'objectif c'est de gagner tous les trophées. Et on sait qu'on a une équipe pour aller au bout, même si c'est difficile, c'est la Ligue des Champions. On sait que voilà, en demi-finale, on va tirer une grosse équipe et on va toujours avoir cette mentalité. Voilà, le même jeu, attaquer, marquer des buts et remporter des victoires.
To get goals and to get those wins. But we'll see what happens.
Ousmane, I'm going to try speaking French now.
Wow.
Since, yeah?
Let's see.
Let me see.
Speak.
Qui est ton préféré dans l'émission?
L'émission.
L'émission.
On sait déjà.
C'est difficile, hein, c'est difficile. Non, c'est difficile.
He said it's difficult.
That means it's difficult.
C'est entre qui en fait? Who's it between?
Entre vous et Titi.
Oh!
C'est ici, vous pouvez partir là-bas. C'est ici,
Non, mais j'aime bien aussi Jamie Carragher.
Hey, Micah! He said he likes Jamie. Ousmane!
And me? No, nothing for me.
You too.
Ousmane, j'avais...
Non, l'émission, elle est magnifique.
Oh,
Thank you. The show was great. Thank you very much. We appreciate you.
Tu l'as mis où le ballon d'or?
Where's the Ballon d'Or?
Il est devant la télé. Hein. Je le mets comme quand j'étais petit, quand tu vois, quand t'as les trophées à la maison, et ta maman les pose à côté de la télé là.
And you had the trophies at home, you had them by the TVs, done the same thing.
En tout cas, bravo. J'ai toujours
Yes.
cru que si tu finissais tes actions, l'affaire était die, comme on dit.
That was slang, I didn't get that
C'est
one.
important. En tout cas, merci beaucoup et voilà, continuez. J'espère qu'on va se voir en demi-finale et pourquoi pas en finale.
Au revoir. Merci,
Thank you so
merci.
much, we're very grateful.
Hey,
Yes, yes,
this is a
yes.
French show.
I like it.
You're on fire.
I like it. Are we going to look at his 2 goals? Yes, we are. Okay, let's do that.
Why don't you talk us through them?
Why would I?
Oh, look, I'm hosting this. I want you to talk through these. I want the
You're going to
terminologies.
do it better than me.
Listen, this was always the problem for Liverpool. Liverpool were playing really well up until this point in the second half. And listen, this is just what the quality is. That man, he was the star of the show last season for Paris Saint-Germain in that sort of deep line striker role. He's in that role again there. Both feet. Maybe goalkeeper reacts a little bit late, but listen, he's just a wonderful player, Ballon d'Or winner, and he's proven it yet again. And then 2-0 Big Meeks.
Yeah, I mean, just look at him there. Just anticipating that I was going to win the ball back. And then good play, obviously, by PSG. Holds his run, and then it's just a tap-in. It's such a joy to watch, isn't it? I think what's more important about his game is his work rate as well. Having all that ability, but still being able to run for your teammates, it is so important now. And just right foot, left foot, no problem at all. What a player he is.
That's a thing that he said that we all know about, and we mentioned so many times. He said he was calling for the team to play as a team again and to pass the ball to each other, which is very important in that team. And you can see on the goals, they were not being selfish with one another. They really want the other guy to shine, because the team will win at the end of the very day. And you know what a team they are.
To just pause you there because we can get some more reaction from Liverpool because Gabriel was Ibrahima Konate.
Yeah, Ibrahima, 4-0 on aggregate over the 2 games. Is that a fair reflection?
To be honest, we can say yes and no, because when we played there, they had many chances and they only scored 2. But we knew at Anfield we can maybe do something special. And today we create many chances, and I think on the pitch we were the better team today. That's why it's a little bit unfair. It's like the last season when we play home, we create many chances. We had so many opportunity to score. But at the end, they had maybe 1 or 2 clear chances and they just score. But this is football, and yeah, sad.
You have a real momentum in the second half. A penalty is awarded. Was it a clear and obvious error? Does the VAR need to get involved there?
I think last season we had a penalty like that with I think Jota. I don't remember which game exactly. Sorry. And yeah, for me it was a clear penalty. I was just behind the referee at the VAR, but he didn't blow the whistle. He didn't say it's a penalty. Then we have to deal with that. But I think at this moment, if we get a penalty and we score, it's completely different.
What do these 2 games tell you going out to PSG about Liverpool's level against the best in Europe?
We have to be happy because we had many players who came back from injury, like Isaac and many other players. Ekitike, I'm very sad for him, and I hope he will come back. To be fair, I think it's bad. I don't know. Yes. I heard many things, but I have no word to talk about that because with the World Cup, all of things who is coming this summer, it's very, very hard for him at this moment. Then I send him my prayer and everything. But I forgot the question, sorry.
Yeah, Liverpool's level. Do you feel it's dropped compared to last season, Premier League champions, compared to the standards you've set?
Yeah, a little bit. After, we don't have to forget what happened this season for us. Many things happened, and we don't have to forget that. And we bring new players, all of these things. But the game of today mean a lot of things because against PSG, and I think the PSG of this season is a little bit better than the season before. And to make a performance like that against them, I don't say we have to be happy because we lost, but we have to build from that and realize how good we can be.
And now, of course, you have to get back into this competition. There's 6 very important games, aren't there, in the Premier League to come? It's sort of unthinkable Liverpool won't be back in this competition. A lot to play for.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a minimum standard for Liverpool to play a Champions League. We have 6 games left, and during these 6 games we have to give all in. And we know how it's difficult. It's the Premier League, but we have to give all in to be in Champions League next season again.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, a difficult season, but he sums it up well there, doesn't he, Daniel? Champions League qualification for next season is crucial.
That's what we talked about earlier on. You know, as much as we can dwell on tonight, you got to move forward, switch your mentality now. You got big games coming up, vital games for the club to ensure you're in the Champions League, and you know, the players have to lock in. They have to focus. There's no time to waste, and these other teams are just as hungry as they are. To prove, you know, their level. Chelsea, I watched them at the weekend, and you know, it's the same for them.
Okay, and they, of course, we're talking about rebuild before. He's talking about his contract negotiations. So, you know, were you surprised to hear him talk about that then?
Yeah, I'm surprised to see him come out and talk after the game. I think, you know, I don't think I've ever heard Konate do an interview in his time being at Liverpool. So. It would have been nice to see one of the leaders come out, and you know, when you go out in a competition, you want to hear from one of the leaders. And listen, I know they do a lot of the interviews, but I think that was probably the wrong time for Konate to come out and do that interview.
It's not just important for the players who are here; it's about attracting players to Champions League football, isn't it?
Absolutely. I think we talk about expectation levels at big clubs. It's a prerequisite that you are in the Champions League. When you get there, you can attract them. But I'm not sure of Liverpool's model, because I know the lads have talked before about obviously bringing £400 million worth into that first team. I think football now tells you that you should be building a squad, and that's one of probably Liverpool's problems this year. Was they've tried to build that first 11, but then you look at the depth and it's not there, is it? You know, you looked at the bench, and you know, after obviously Rio came on, you're sort of thinking, what else can he do here? I think that's the problem with Liverpool, not the first 11, because a fit first 11 will give anyone a game. But then it's the squad depth.
He is certainly a bright spark and a great hope for Liverpool, isn't he? And he showed some of that class tonight.
He is. I think he's a fantastic young player, and I've said this before, it's always nice to see young players get given opportunities, and I think this season has been a good step for him, but next season he needs to be pushing. Needs to be pushing to be playing on a regular basis, and I think he will do.
Is he fouling you there?
Yeah, he just wants to escape.
It's funny actually, because you talk about young players. So young players come into the game, and you're talking about next year could be like a real pivotal moment in his career. From a management point of view, does he play a lot more games, or we look at Isak tonight? Isak played 45 minutes. Is that the manager's decision, or is that the sports science decision, and will that play effect into Rio's career next year?
Maybe both. I think sports science have a big say now, but Arne Slot's future at the club could be on. So I think as a manager you need to take control and say, listen, I'm not saying that was the case, but listen, you play as long as you can.
I agree.
And if you can't do it, you can't.
Take it off. Position at the club could be on the line.
I mean, Champions League football dictates that, doesn't it? If you don't get in, then there's serious questions. But I mean, as Daniel said, I think tonight is not really the time to reflect on Arne Slot. I think questions will be asked, of course.